Annyeong, it's Mikey here, and today I have another audio product review, and this time it's gonna be an IEM. Now, during the whole Prime Day, big Prime Day sale, I actually picked up an IE200. I want to try these out because, everybody has been like saying, oh, this is the best thing you can ever try, especially considering the price range and everything. We're gonna have to see, is this really gonna be like the best IEM you can purchase at the so-called low price range around $200, or is it actually not worth it and maybe there's something else that you should be grabbing instead? So we're gonna have to go into the unboxing, check it out, and of course give you guys like a fit test and more. So please make sure like and subscribe, and let's get right into it.
We're gonna now start off with the unboxing of the IE200. My apologies that my voice right now might not sound like normal. I have a cold, so unfortunately my nose is quite clogged. Now, this is the box for the IE200, and honestly, the packaging, yes, it's like your usual Sennheiser IEM packaging, but I feel like it feels kind of cheap. In terms of what like the earphones are in, and opening up even just the ear tips was a little bit tough for me, but you get a lot of tips. So you even get foam and you get silicone tips. The silicone tips, I'm gonna be honest with you, are okay. So they're not bad. Some people are gonna enjoy them. They're gonna be very comfortable, but I felt like they were a little bit on the cheap end. Now the foam tips are really good though, and we're gonna have to try them out later on. In general, I've heard that, so in terms of the IE200, there's going to be two different placements you can do. And as you can see there's the slit on the IE200, which actually will change like how the frequency response is and the type of sound you're going to get. Now this cable, oh my goodness, it's really cheap. It's probably one of the worst cables I've seen. And I've bought some like $50 IEMs before, and the cables weren't as bad as this. But to be fair, they probably put a lot of money inside of the driver and a lot of time into like the actual case of the IEM itself. Yeah, it's unfortunate that it's only going to be a 3.5 millimeter cable.
This is the original cable. Now, as I was showing you guys, the original cable is really not great. When you plug these in and you have them and it's touching you, it's hitting you like this, you're walking or like you're trying to move around, it's going to be very uncomfortable. These, I feel, are like really cheap. Like the cables feel incredibly cheap to the point where like I feel like if I was to pull on them, they will literally break and fall apart. I can show you here as well the fit on these with the original like fitment here. It's not the most comfortable. So how it works here, and if I bring you guys a bit closer, you can see here that it's like a little bit uncomfortable under my glasses, and overall I think that makes it really, really not great, because like when you plug it into your ears, you want to make sure that it's like fit and it's good and snug, and you don't want sound like coming out or leaking. The way that this fits, it doesn't go right behind my ear perfectly, and even though I press it hard and like I'm trying to squeeze it in to like mold it, when I do that, it pops out the IEM from my ear, and then it doesn't really hold well in terms of that. So it feels a bit uncomfortable and it doesn't feel like it's a great hold. Overall, you get so much noise from these cables, and as I said, like they're super thin. So you see how thin these cables are? These are not good cables. You only get the 3.5 millimeter jack with these cables as well, which is not what I like. I personally want to be able to make sure I get the 4.4. Of course, you can get an adapter, but that's something that I would prefer not to do. So that's the thing I actually felt was needing an upgrade. So I was doing a lot of research in terms of what people were saying. So the first thing I actually did was purchase this upgrade, which is a Linsole cable. This Linsole cable was about 35 Canadian on sale during the big Prime Day sale, which is awesome. And it's much thicker, as you can see. And overall, the overall fit in terms of my right ear is going to be a lot more comfortable. And, whoop, sorry, I have the cable that's plugged right in. And it still fits too. So it surprisingly enough, they are able to get the right MMCX like fitment with the pins, and you're able to get it in, and it's super snug. It feels so much more comfortable behind my ears. It's snug, fit, and I don't get like that ton of wire noise, which is awesome. Overall, the fitment on these is quite comfortable, but it's still not like amazing. You still, I think, have to upgrade as well in terms of the like earpiece as well. So The ear tips, I would highly suggest you upgrade and get different ones. The ones that they have stock are also not great. I'll actually link the ones that I purchased as well. It's from Dunu, and it's the Dunu SS ear tips, which is a lot better. It gets that really snug fit in your ear, and you get like a perfect isolation with these. Make sure you get the right size though, because the tip size is gonna be important. I think these sound amazing. So the way that the IEMs are done is I actually ended up doing the mod. So I don't know if you guys can really see the mod right here. If we get closer, I actually did the modding. So what mod did I do for the IE200s? The mod that I did for the IE200s was the taping the slit. So they have this little slit here. It's supposed to give you like different kind of sound profiles depending on the sound you're wanting. But overall, I think when you close it off completely and you cover that, you get the better bass and you get a lot of it. These are incredibly good for bass wise. So you're getting a strong bass. You also get a really nice like airy sound that goes all the way through. They're impressive for the price, but it does require more than what you're paying. So to get to that point, you have to get like the right ear tips. You have to, of course, close off that slit, and then you're gonna have to change out the cables. All of that in total is gonna cost you probably around like $50 Canadian, maybe $30 USD or 40 USD. You have to spend around that much on top of what you're buying for these IEMs. Now, these IEMs can go on sale. So I purchased them on sale for like around 125 Canadian at the time. At that price, it's super worth it, right? Because you pay 125 Canadian. That's around like close to the 100 USD portion. And you can get a really nice pair of IEMs that sound amazing. They're very good for more pop culture songs, I would say. So music-wise, I would highly suggest like what's trending lately, right? Pop culture. Those are the songs that you're going to enjoy a lot more with these IEMs. If you start going into like polyphia and you're really trying to listen to like the clarity as well as the like instruments little by little, like the details, these aren't going to play up to that in terms of the details. I compared these with my Dita Project M, and the Project M was able to get so much more detail, but in terms of this like heavy bass sound, the IE200 is actually kind of won. Even though the Ditas are a dynamic and they're very known for that, these ones were definitely stronger in terms of like the rumbling, and it was good, but the Dita's bass was cleaner, like much cleaner. So it was a much cleaner bass with that really strong detail. I do highly recommend these though if you are buying IEMs and you want something that's around the $100 range, if it goes on sale. So key thing is going to be on sale. So when Black Friday comes along, I would highly suggest that's when you should grab one. But of course, let's go into taking a look at the graph and a little bit more information on these IEMs.
So right away when we go into the website, it's like $110 before tax. And this is in Canada. Now, US pricing is going to be different, which we'll look into after. You can see here, they got the different features in terms of like the drivers, and that's a MMCX connector. Its frequency response supposed to be like 6 hertz to 2000 hertz. And overall, the design of the IEM is really nice. I love the sleek design, and you know what, in general, I have to admit that Sennheiser makes really like clean looking IEMs and quite comfortable. Overall, I'm on the side of liking something that's a little bit smaller, but these are perfectly for that. Now, in general, the price range is quite good in terms of with the sale. Now, as you was mentioning, like having the foam tip is a little bit better. You will actually get a really nice like bass sound to it, and that's when you're covering like the slit inside of the actual tip. And honestly, the 3.5 cable is not great. Like their 4.4 is ridiculously expensive. I think that price is just unreasonable. Now, you can see here on the US website of Amazon, it's actually 130 USD. It's not that much on sale. Like if you convert 110 Canadian to USD, you're looking at like 75 USD to like 80 USD. That price would have been really amazing, but it's unfortunate for the US people that you're not getting that kind of a sale, maybe on Black Friday. So that's something you're gonna have to keep in mind of. But people in Canada, right now it's a really good price. It's 45% off. Now we're going to the graph. So these are the different tips, right? So you have the regular tip, and then you have the foam tip, and then when they have the reference, that's going to be when it's actually covering the slit, and the analytical is actually you kind of let it open. So the IE200 has technically, I guess, 4 different ways you can do the sound, or if you get a completely different tip like I did, which is the Dunu SS. Now, the biggest thing is that I don't think the analytical versions are that great. You lose a lot of the bass. It's not nice, and like it's okay in the highs, and it's a little bit more airy sounding, but I personally prefer it like fully closed off, which is why I did the mod, right? I typed it up completely, and then I got some different ear tips to cover it up fully. When you get that reference with like the fully covered, you get an incredible bass sound. And when I say incredible, I mean it's really good. Like you're getting a full bass, it's very strong, it's not mushy, and honestly, like the best songs that you'd want to listen to with the IE200, I know I went over some of them, but like Surfaces, like lo-fi music, you'll really enjoy it. Polyphia was okay, but when I compared it with my Dita Project M, it wasn't as detailed in terms of all the sound and instruments you're getting. But like hip hop rap songs like Kendrick, or even listening to like Taylor Swift, more pop songs, like that's what the IE200 is gonna really excel at. Like I know that when people are comparing a lot of like IEMs and really wanting to know like how it can be in terms of audio, they listen to classic music, and I think for classic it's okay, and in general the like sound stage is actually pretty decent, but it's still an IEM and it's not gonna be as good as a headphone. In general though, I'm gonna show you guys the cable that I got. So I would highly suggest you replace your cables with this one. This one actually still works with Sennheiser MMCX plug. If you didn't know, Sennheiser's plug is actually a little bit different in terms of size, so not all will fit properly, but this one does, and it's actually really good. It's modular, so you do get like the 4.4 or the 3.5. Like you can change it up on the bottom without changing the cable, which is awesome. I would wait for a sale though, because that is quite expensive for a cable, but you can definitely get one on sale. Like in the States right now, it's on sale a little bit, but Black Friday, you should be a much bigger sale, and then you'll be able to pick up a cable. And I highly recommend changing the cable. The ear tips is really up to you. If you find it comfortable, you don't have to, but the cable for sure, I highly recommend it. Now, if you look at it, right, so close up with the actual cable that I have, it's really nice. It's a little bit thicker, it's got more play, it's a lot more comfortable behind the ear, and it actually holds the spot. When you get the original cable, as you guys saw in the fitment test, it's too thin and it doesn't really hold well, and it feels quite uncomfortable. This is why I highly recommend getting the different cable. You can see here like the thickness is double the thickness, and the ear tips, this is a Dunu SS. I find it very comfortable. It fits really well, and closer up with the mod that I did, so I just taped it around, and this really helped with the bass. I think that overall, with like the price that you're paying, especially when it's on sale, so the key thing is in 2025 you want to make sure you pick this up on a good sale. So at $100 mark, it's going to be really good, and you have to spend probably about $40 more to make it even better with like the better ear tips and better cable. But you will get something that's like $150 spent, and you're gonna get the quality of like $300-400 IEMs. I really think that this is what it can do, and it's how strong it is, but you do have to modify it and do these extra steps. So that's why I think the original price of $200 is just not worth it.
Now, I hope this video helped you guys to see if the IE200 is something you should grab even now in 2025. I think that they're still worth it when they go on sale. So if you're able to find a sale at around the $100 portion, I think it's definitely worth it. I would highly recommend, of course, getting the different ear tips, which I'll have links in the description, and also getting these different cables. Even if it's not for the IE200s, I would highly recommend these cables. They're very good. You get the modular points right here, so you can change it out to 3.5 or 4.4. I highly recommend use 4.4 for the music. It really makes a huge difference. Like if you haven't tried it before, give it a try. You will have a different experience with your music. I really think that overall Sennheiser did a great job, especially when you consider the price point. I wish that they didn't cheap out on the cable though. Like they cheaped out too much in it. It's just unfortunate, but overall the sound quality on these things is just really good. Please go check out the other videos I got, and I'll have to make sure to catch you guys next time.